to the channel, guys. We're test driving the F430 Spider. There's only one way to drive this is with the top down. I'm not really sure you will hear me later, but we'll figure this out soon. So before anyone says anything about it, yes, there's a button missing down there. Typical Ferrari Maserati fashion of the time. They tend to fall apart. Something I want to address has been bothering me in many Ferrari reviews, and so we can talk about it right now. So we get this off the table already. Is the gearbox. Many people complain about the gearbox. I don't know if it's because I drove a Grand Sport for probably 50,000 kilometers. I was daily driving that one, and I think I got used to the F1 box. They're pretty easy to drive. The only thing is when you're in an upslope, just like what happened 5 minutes ago. So you gotta use your handbrake like in a normal manual gearbox car. Which is a good point, and it's good we're talking about this, because the problem with the F430 doesn't have any sort of electric handbrake like the Grand Sport had, so it's a bit more complicated to use in a, let's say, a hilly terrain. If you live in a place like here where you've got a lot of slopes, it could get annoying. No, I understand why they did that. They just wanted to save weight. It's a Ferrari, not a Maserati, a sports car, so that makes sense. Getting back to that gearbox, it's relatively easy to maneuver, provided that you don't have to go too many times back and forth. Could get annoying. That's the only downside of that box. All the rest is fantastic. Gear shifts are properly quick, so now the car is cold, we're driving slow. Honestly, I don't see any downsides besides parking, which can get pretty annoying in terms of engagement. So most of the time that would be if your gearbox is not properly set up, what Ferrari call the PIS, the point of initial slip. And that could be set up with the computer. You can even do that with one of these home computers. Other than that, honestly, it's fantastic. The gear shifts are quick. The downshifts are perfect. The thing is, you need to drive these properly, and most of the people that review these boxes, they don't know how to drive them properly. I just shifted right now. My right foot's on the throttle. I don't lift. Most of the time you don't need to lift, of course, unless you're braking. Otherwise, honestly, it's perfectly fine with the foot on the throttle, and that's the way it needs to be driven, whether you drive quick or slow. See, foot on the throttle, don't shift, instant, no problem at all. So we're at 55 degrees, we'll go back and forth a little bit, 5,000 RPM. I'm in sport mode right now. Could use the race mode. The change could be quicker. Makes a bit of a difference. Suspension is stiffer as well. With the windows up, it's really quiet in here. You could easily speak with a passenger unless you start to hammer it. And in that case, the engine noise will absolutely cover your conversation. In terms of driving mode, the suspension doesn't feel so much stiffer in race mode. And that's on the road. I didn't get to push the car on the track. I think it's nice to have it in race mode, so that you can preserve the gearbox. It's an easy car to drive quick. It's not even too harsh, and the pavement's not that great. The
steering is very communicative, you know, you really feel the car, you feel what happens. It's really a great car.
I wouldn't recommend driving that when you hang over it. Could become a bit overwhelming. Very loud, particularly with the vacuum lines disconnected from the exhaust valves. It's quick enough for the road. In fact, you know, this generation of Ferraris, I would say the 430, 599 GTB, the 612 Scagliati, you don't need anything more than that level of power for that kind of weight. We're talking about 1400, 1500 kilos with the fluids. Yeah, it's quick enough.
That generation, they already had the advantage that they could be driven on the torque very gently. They're still comfortable. You probably could do weekends and short trips with that. The frunk is big enough.
Nice to drive that kind of car with a soft top, and I mean top down. I don't know if you guys can hear the rumble, the sound is pretty loud. And when you go through the revs, you literally get deaf. The suspension is quite good actually, it's more comfortable than what I was expecting. Even on the roads like that. Well planted, but not too stiff, even in race mode. It's pretty nice, it's well sorted. Of course it's a bit stiffer than if I compare it to a GT car, Grand Sport and stuff like that from this generation, but it's much more comfortable than what you would expect for a sports car.
Very nice turn in. The car is on rails. Very precise. Really good traction as well. You never feel like it's tricky. It's really easy to drive this car. In fifth gear, 60 kilometers per hour. It's very torquey, very comfortable. You don't need to downshift to drive the car. You really feel this balance of power and weight compared to, say, heavier car. So the engine really works well in terms of torque and everything to drive the car in a relaxed manner, let's say. So you don't have to hammer it to enjoy it, just cruising. It's quite pleasant.
Even by today's standards, this is pretty quick. It's good enough for the road, really. You wouldn't be able to use any more than that if you wanted to keep your license and your car in some countries. drive it slow. Once again, coming back to the box, you just need to go, like not stab at the throttle, but you know, give it a definitive firm engagement, not like going for 15% of the throttle or something like that. You'd rather go for, I mean, at least when you start, for 20-30%. Normal driving situations, there's no issues at all. It's just perfect, even at hard throttle like right now. Again, very pleasant gearbox. It does the job very nicely. Good brakes. They don't like bite or anything. You need to be firm on the pedal, so it's a bit more tuned like a race car, I would say. Not so much assistance, which is good. That's the way you want them. I would want them this way. It's very decent if you used to drive bigger car, like say Mercedes-Benz E-Class, S-Class size of cars, BMW 5 Series, 7 Series. You'd be perfectly fine with that kind of car in the width. It's not intimidating in any way. Visibility is pretty good. You see the intakes in the mirror, gives you a good sense of the width of the car. The center mirror, you don't see much in it, but it's good enough again. The ergonomy of the cabin is just nice. You've got everything you need where you need it. You don't have all the unnecessary stuff that you get on modern cars. Yeah, I think I'll be fine with a probably with a 360 Modena. The Spider is very nice, but it comes with all the constraints of hearing more noises, smelling more smells, getting sunburnt. Again, if you live in the UK, you'll be fine, but if you live in a sunny place, you better put sunscreen before going out. The thing with the berlinetas though, is the space. It's tiny in here, you know. I mean, it's fine, it's not too small, but it's tiny. You don't have a lot of room, it's not very comfortable. You could fit a couple of golf bags behind the seat. I believe you have more space in the coupe than in the Spider. With the Spider, if you don't have the option of that central speaker, which is nice not to have because you get more space. Yeah, you could put a couple of golf bags. The frunk is relatively usable.
So how does it feel to live with the 430 on a daily basis? Well, it's very comfortable in terms of the suspension. It's a bit of a stretch, say, if you wanted to use that as a daily driver. Personally, I still value practicality over something a bit, let's say, tinier, where you don't have so much space. You know, you have the wheel well down there, so your sitting position is slightly offset. So I mean, if it was me, if I had the choice, I would look for, say, a 599 GTB or a 612 Scaglietti, because I really think the 2 extra seats are a big advantage. If you enjoyed this video, guys, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll be doing more of these.